Hello everyone, and welcome to State of the Game for the 13th of April. Hi Yannick, welcome back.
Hello Hamish.
I realized, and this has happened quite a few times recently, that basically for the past few months, that we haven't introduced ourselves, and there are new people. So, hi everyone, my name is Hamish, I'm a community developer.
And my name is Yannick, and I'm the other community developer.
Easy.
Easy.
Solid. All right, no, I just think it's also good for people to know what's going on. So today, we're going to try, and obviously you guys know that we're going through a lot of State of the Game feedback and that sort of thing. We are, well, today isn't obviously the culmination of all of that. This is going to be a long, ongoing process, but we are really, really committed to making sure that the stream is the best it can possibly be, so we can make sure that you guys get the content that you want. And we're going to talk more about that because we've got some of the survey results to go through and that sort of thing. But there are other things to go through today. We have some talk about the quality update 1.6.1. There's some interesting things in there as well. And the spring event.
Yes.
People may not have heard about it, Yannick. Let's start with that.
Yeah, I've seen some people already started picking it up from the ticker down there.
Yes.
So yes, we have a spring event coming. That's actually starting tomorrow. So if you've gone into the game already, you may have seen that we have some sales going on at the premium vendor. So there is a whole sales thing that is happening. So if you log in every day, you will see some special sales there, items at 75% off or whatever. But more importantly, we also have some in-game event.
Yay, finally!
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, we are starting to roll out the whole idea of double kind of thing and all of that. So we have 2 of these coming this weekend because it's a long weekend for many people. So what we have is starting tomorrow at 10 a.m. CEST, which is 8 a.m. UTC, like GMT and all of that.
There's a lot of, it's all over the place now.
So wait, let me try to do the math now because now I started. 10 a.m. CEST, which is 4 a.m. EDT, I think, and ST. No, it's.
I love watching you struggle.
DT or ST now? Yeah. Anyway. All right.
Look it up.
8 a.m. GMT, and then you can try to do the conversion. Tomorrow, April 14th until April 16th, same time, so 48 hours, you will get an extra drop event. So basically, every time you kill a name boss anywhere in the game, you will get 1 extra drop on this name boss. Nice. So what that means is that like all the mission bosses, all the open world bosses, the dark zone bosses, underground, what else do I have in here? HVTs, all this kind of stuff. Every time you kill a name boss, even the missions that have more than 1,
double drops.
You get 1 extra drop. It's not double drops.
Not double drops, but
it's 1 extra drop per name bosses. So if you farm name bosses, you're gonna get more drops, which is a cool thing. So that's for 48 hours, but it doesn't end here.
There's more.
But there is more. Because then from April 16th, so when this one ends, we start for another 48 hours. And this time we are bringing back the double field proficiency caches that we did for the anniversary, actually it was. So yes, every time you actually fill up your field proficiency bar and get a field proficiency cache, you get an extra field proficiency cache with it. So
nice. 2
proficiency caches.
Dust off those knee pads that you weren't using that give you extra experience.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. You should do that. Because when else are you going to use them? I mean, really.
All right. So yeah. So again, recap, starting tomorrow, April 14th. For 48 hours, every time you kill a name boss, you get an extra drop. And the 48 hours after that, every time you get a proficiency cache, you get a second one for free.
Nice.
That's
a lot of loot. That's a lot of loot. You guys know what knee pads I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay. More things today, and in an effort to kind of reflect some of the community's feedback, we want to keep things as on the roll as we can. So we have vowed to not shit talk as much. There'll be a little bit, but that's us. But okay, moving on.
Tomorrow Sweden time or US time? Sorry, yes, Sweden time. When I say tomorrow, I said tomorrow 8 a.m. GMT. It's 10 a.m. in Sweden right now. Not right now. It's 10 a.m. for us in Sweden. It's 8 a.m. GMT. So that's tomorrow for us, but I think it would be tomorrow for everyone. It's 5 p.m. now for us, so I think it's no matter what.
Google helps with these things.
It's in 17 hours, basically.
Yeah. But lots of loot coming soon. That's all you really need to know.
Starts in 17 hours.
Yes. Okay. Now I can move on.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Quality update 1.6.1. I'm excited. That's why I'm moving on. We are still scheduled for May for this, and there will be a PTS beforehand. We can't quite commit to that date just yet, but we are in the whole process of getting that PTS ready and out as soon as we can, because obviously we want it out as soon as we can, because then we can test.
Yeah, but it's basically being built right now. The PTS built. Yes. So until we get confirmation that it's stable enough and we can actually release it, that it doesn't crash your game or whatever, or crash your PC or anything. We do not have a date, but it's looking good. Cool. And as soon as it's built and we're sure it works, we can give you a date.
Great. Also, just for clarification, we have said it many times on the stream in relation to the PTS. The console PTS will be coming for 1.7.
Yeah.
1.6.1 will be for PC only. Just to be clear.
Yes.
Because we want to make sure that people know that, so they don't, have any confusion.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, PS4 PTS, Sergeant Teabag, will be on 1.7, not 1.6.1. Yeah. Do you want to do the good news? What I think is really good news.
So one of the good news, that's at least going to be good news for some, is that when we announced the year 2 thing, there was one thing we talked about, which was loadouts, and people were like, oh, it looks like it's almost ready, so why do we have to wait until 1.7 to have it released? And back then, we thought it would take us that long to actually finish it. Good news, we actually managed to finish it earlier than planned. So loadouts are coming with 1.6.1.
Yes! Okay, I'm very, very happy about that. I think it's great news. I'm interested to see what you guys think about that. I know some people will be very happy.
Yep.
Maybe some others don't care, but I'm very, very happy about it. There we go. I already see some people saying that's very good. We also need to clarify, this just means that this feature is coming sooner in 1.6.1. This doesn't mean that that workload has been removed from 1.7 and those people can now be assigned to a new feature. That's not how it's going to work. Those people will be working on 1.7 and making sure that that's a great patch. But
they will be supporting all the rest. But it's like loadouts is not replaced with something else in 1.7. It's going to be finished earlier, which is great, and therefore the people that were working on it will support with the things that were already planned for 1.7.
Exactly.
Which were still our take-on seasons and feats.
Yes. So there was obviously a conversation like, hey, we think loadouts are going to be ready for 1.6.1. Should we bring it? And then then it's not in 1.7, it's in 1.6.1. Of course, we want to get it out as soon as possible.
And it was something that was brought up by people as well when we showed it, and because yes, of course, it's a long wait between when we announced year 2 and 1.7. We said July, August, or whatever. So it's a very long wait, and some people were like, well, at least give us the loadouts before, so there's something that feels like new. And we looked at it and we're like, yeah, you know what? Actually, yes, we can make it happen. So let's do it.
Awesome.
So loadouts are coming.
Yes, so I mean, we do have obviously a lot of other things coming in 1.6.1. That doesn't also mean that things that were going to be in 1.6.1 have been bumped in favor of loadouts. That's not how it works either. But I bugged Yannick today to see what we can talk about for 1.6.1. Obviously, this is very, very top level, but we wanted to make sure that we give you guys as much transparency as possible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we should go through some of those things. The first one, you know a bit more than I do about it, but we haven't ever talked about it before.
No, so it's, that's true. So one of the things that we're adding with 1.6.1, and again, remember 1.6.1 is what we call a quality update, which means it's not like one of the major updates that we're going to do like 1.7 or 1.8. It's mostly, we talked about it, quality of life and these kind of things. So it's a bit smaller additions, but what we're adding, for example, is the concept of proficiency marks in Last Stand. So what are proficiency marks? It's basically a tracker that's going to track all the things you're doing while you're playing Last Stand.
Yep.
And that's going to like highlight the players that perform the best. So for example, the player that gets the best kill-death ratio during a Last Stand game is going to get extra rewards. The player who gets like the most capture points is going to get extra rewards and all of that. And so you can see that in real time during the game on the scoreboard. And at the end of the game, each team gets their own proficiency marks reward. And you get, if you get a proficiency mark, you basically get more points.
Great.
For your score.
And then that will, in theory, not in theory, in practice, convert to more caches for those people that get those things. We don't have the full list of what those different buckets for proficiency marks are.
Yeah, we don't have the list yet.
But when we do get them, I'm excited to talk about them. I want to see if things like healing and those sorts of things are on there. So it's going to be very cool. Some of the other things that I think are great, landmarks, when you clear them, you'll get rewards straight to your inventory.
Yeah.
And also DZXP and currency, which I think is great because it's always also frustrating when you go into a half-completed landmark and the boss is gone.
That's the idea, it's just to get the player to do this extra effort of like, okay, I killed the main boss of the landmark, but if I just killed the last NPCs that are standing there, I'm gonna get some extra rewards on top of it. So yes, and this is direct to inventory loot, so you don't even have to extract, which is quite convenient.
Great. I actually wish we had the folks at Redstorm on the laptop today because they've been working on a bunch of other stuff. There's been some level design changes as well. Hopefully we can get them on again at some point soon. But things like Coward's Corner, and these sorts of things allowing people to do what some may consider a little bit cheesy gameplay, receiving some changes. And I hope we can share some screenshots of those in the coming weeks. If we can't, then you'll experience those on the PTS. But there are some level design changes which I think are very, very cool.
Yeah, it's just thinking about manhunts in a dark zone and everything, and trying to get rid of some of the areas that were a bit problematic when you would go in manhunt and then find spots where you can basically just hide, and like players that are trying to hunt you down have actually no chance whatsoever to fight you. Yeah.
So I'm saying, is the ladder removed? There's some changes. The ladder is not important anymore.
The ladder, some changes. Yeah, it's just like the level design of the area is reworked. So
yeah.
Perfect. So there's a bit more chances for people that want to hunt you down there.
Yeah, perfect. Also, we've talked about it before. Extended magazines will be receiving some changes. So craftable ones and I guess ones that drop, level 34 ones. This won't be retroactive, so if you have a level 34 mag, it will retain the same values that you have today. But if you craft one or one drops, it will now roll up to a maximum of 121%.
Yes.
Which I'm going to put on my M60 for my Hunter's Faith build, which will be...
Yeah, we talked about that in the past already, but we wanted to do something because, the span of the bonus you would get was from 108 to 111, I think, on level 34 mags, which is not consistent with the previous mags. So we buffed it up, so now it should be 108 to 121.
Nice. All right. Do you want to take the next few?
Which one is that? Oh yeah, burst fire. So yes, there's been an issue for a while already with burst fire weapons, especially on PC, but I think you can do it on console as well, where if you kind of bind the fire control to the scroll wheel or these kind of things, you can basically use your burst fire weapon pretty much the same way you would use an automatic weapon, which means that you get the bonus from the extra damage because it's supposed to be burst fire, but with the RPM of an automatic weapon, which makes them kind of OP.
Yeah.
So we have a fix for that. So you will no longer be able to do these kind of things. A burst fire weapon will always have to burst fire, no matter what control you use to actually shoot with it. It should bring a bit more balance, especially in PvP with the people that were running around with a burst fire.
Yeah, exactly.
The next thing that we wanted to talk about that's coming also with 1.6.1 is stagger. So we know that stagger has been an issue, and not just shotgun stagger, but stagger overall everywhere, and not just in PvP, in PvE as well. Stagger was buffed up with 1.6, probably too much. So we're going to go back to values that are closer to what it used to be before 1.6 in terms of stagger.
Yeah.
So everywhere, NPCs and PvP and on all weapons.
Yes. It's, the stagger can be pretty frustrating. I mean, I know that you were watching the stream I was doing yesterday or the day before, and you've got a few clips of just that stagger being it's pretty brutal. I mean, you guys know. You guys know about that. So yes, stagger's going to be definitely significantly reduced.
Yeah. Next one is also one that some people might be happy about, which is, again, back in Last Stand, but I realize that's completely not organized. But anyway, Last Stand spawn camping, so there are some improvements coming. There were some small improvements already being made, but we have more coming that are basically going to improve the spawn logic, and so the game is going to do a better job at detecting if you're actually being spawn camped, and if it is, it's going to offer you more spawn options. So that should make the spawn camping less of an issue, because if people are just in your spawn, you will have alternative options to spawn at.
Perfect. I'm happy with that.
All right.
What else you got?
Should I keep going?
Please do.
Okay. Next one is also a happy one, which is Shrapnel, Fear Tactics, and Wildfire are going to be fixed.
Yes.
So they're going to work, especially Shrapnel that didn't work with Predator 4-piece. Now it's going to work.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that coming back.
Fear Tactics and Wildfire that wouldn't always like spread the effect. So Fear Tactics spreading the shock, Wildfire spreading the fire effect or the burn effect. These were not working correctly. Now they are going to be fixed and will be working.
Yes. So a lot of these things, I'm very interested to see how they work out on the PTS. So one of these things to keep in mind, everyone, we do want your feedback on these things.
Yeah, it's all going to be on the PTS.
We especially want your feedback once they've been on the PTS and you've had a chance to try them out. I know that if history is anything to go by, whenever we make changes like this, we get a lot of feedback that is speculative. I mean, we have an idea of how it, well, not when I say we, I mean Yannick and I that haven't tried it out, but there's obviously developers who have tested it.
Yeah.
We have different ideas. Everyone in chat probably has a very, very specific idea themselves about how these things will work. But let's continue to give feedback, and especially once the PTS is out.
Yeah. Somebody was asking, will they work on agents? Yes, they should. That's at least the intended design. So again, please test all of that on the PTS and tell us if it works correctly and if it doesn't become OP suddenly or whatever. But yeah, so these were not working correctly. Now they will.
Great.
Then next, what do we have? So, and again, this is just like a shortened list of the things that we have. We are still working on the patch notes right now, so we haven't gone through all the changes. But what do we have? Environment improvements. So basically, there's been a bunch of improvements that have been made overall to the game, to the open world, the dark zone, and all that, especially in relation to cover, to collisions, to places where you could end up stuck, to props that would be missing or textures that would be missing. A lot of things have been done there just to try to kind of improve the environment, and especially the collision and covers that were problematic sometimes.
To go a little bit off topic, we don't have it in here because we've talked about it many times. There will be some changes to Seekers coming in 1.6.1 that you will try on the PTS, and again, that's one of the feedback ones.
But we've been through that a few times, so that's just why we are not adding it. But yes, the Airburst Seeker changes that we talked about are coming with 1.6.1.
Yes, obviously along with a lot of last stand fixes. Survivor Link as well, the speed bonus that wasn't working has been fixed. And the last one we have in here, throwable skills have received some bug fixes as well. And you guys know the throwable skills bugs that we're talking about if you've experienced them. Okay, before we move on, do you want to clarify the Spring event for the people that have come in recently? I've seen a lot of questions about that in chat.
Yeah, so the Spring event is basically, again, it starts tomorrow. It starts in 16 hours and 40 minutes now, because I don't want to try to do the time difference thing again. But tomorrow at 10 a.m. CEST, it starts for 48 hours. Every name boss that you kill in the game is going to give you 1 extra drop. And then 48 hours after, for the 48 hours that follow that, so starting from the 16th of April, you will get 1 extra field proficiency every time you complete your field proficiency XP bar or whatever. You get an extra field proficiency cache.
Yep.
And I've seen some people were asking about exotics. The field proficiency, the extra one you can get, also has a chance to give you an exotic because it's the same cache as the other one. So
great.
It does give you more chances to get exotics.
Great. Okay, so like I said a little bit earlier, well, actually, just to conclude on the whole, we just dropped some of the things that will be coming in 1.6.1. That's not an exhaustive list, by the way. We just wanted to give you a little bit of insight into some of the things that you can expect. Obviously, the highlight of that, if you're just tuning in, 1.6.1 will have loadouts. Yes, feels good. I'm excited about that. But as you know, we have done a survey last week.
Yes.
I think that's closed now. Peter, was that closed today? Yeah. All right, that has been closed. Basically, just so you guys know, we have heard and acknowledged that the community wants a better state of the game, and I agree. I think it would be naive of us to think that the format, the content that you guys want, doesn't need to be adjusted. And I want to make sure that this show can be the best it can be. So in light of that, I wanted to go through some of the feedback that we got, because I think it's, well, I found it pretty interesting and great.
It is.
So the first question that we asked was asking people, how do you normally watch the state of the game? And the results were, I think, really cool. I think about 35% of people actually watch it on Twitch. Mm-hmm. And 65% of it will catch it later on people's YouTube channels and that sort of thing. I think that's great. I think it's cool to see the power of our community out there sharing this content. So if you're watching this on someone else's YouTube channel, I guess, hi.
And we know it's also, because it's a decision we make to do that live. But we know it can be an issue for some people because they cannot necessarily watch at the time where we do it. And also, a lot of people don't want to watch the whole 30 minutes of us just, like talking and laughing about random stuff, and prefer to also watch the shorter version, I guess, on YouTube. So that makes sense.
All right. So the other question that we asked people was how often do they watch it, which is every time, basically. We don't have, I find it's, oh no, actually no. So after we shared it on Twitter and other people found it in other places, there are some people that never watch it. But most people watch it every time, which is really important feedback for when we're trying to figure out, the kind of frequency that we want to do for this show. The other things that we have, and this is going to be something that we come back to later on once we have changed the format, we asked what your current appreciation for the State of the Game streams were, and we're sitting around a 3.5. Mm-hmm. So it's a pass, but I'm not happy with just a pass.
Going from 1 to 5.
1 to 5.
5 being the, like, I love it, it's amazing,
I love
don't change anything.
Yeah. So, it's not good enough, in my opinion. We need to do better. But what I'm excited to do is what we will be working on this format and the content that we show on here. And again, I think it's important to point out that that doesn't mean that that's outside of the game's development, but this is just a place for communicating that, but also other things. 3.5, we're going to come back to that a little bit later on in a few months, and we'll see if we can improve. One of the things that is a no-brainer for us was this next question we asked, where we asked, how should we handle questions that we get from the community? And this is an easy win for us, something that we haven't done. A question mega thread, which is that big bar you see there. Obviously, you can't read all the text. We have to do that. We will do that, and we will let you know when we start that off. It will be on the forums, so keep an eye out for that. We don't have a date for this kind of new format just yet, but I thought that one was really cool. So, done. Thank you for your feedback on that. Should we? Sorry, you go.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to comment on that a bit because, like, it's always a question if we should comment on chat and like take the questions from chat.
That was the next question that we have a graphic for.
All right.
But you can see what the community said. They said that we should do that. I mean, some people don't like it.
Yeah, but read chat.
Should we read chat?
So the question is, should we read chat? But the one before was like, should we take questions from chat?
It was about the same, actually.
Yeah.
People do like when we respond to Twitch chat. I will say this, and this is from the written feedback that I was going through. I don't, and we talked about this a little bit earlier before the stream, I don't think that we should feed trolly comments as much as we were. I think that can derail some of our messages. And I agree. So people who gave us feedback on that, I appreciate it. So again, thank you for being involved. But we had one more question, which I think is needs to be a focus of how we move forward. And that was, do you want more community-created content on the stream? And it's a clear yes. Appreciate it. So we need to do a better job of highlighting those things, and we will.
Yeah.
That does mean that we will have to do more work on the show, but that's something we have to do. So again, thank you to everyone who partook. And now I don't even know how to English.
You need.
Yeah, my brain stopped working. Thank you for everyone that did the survey.
Yeah.
And completed it, because we are committed. I know that a lot of people have come in in the past few weeks and been like, game is dead, they aren't committed to the game. We're here, we're not going anywhere. So had partaken. Thank you, Corrosive. Chose to partake. Do you even English?
Dude.
I don't know.
Do you even? No, but I mean, it's interesting also because like we get a lot of results. I mean, all these results are, I mean, reassuring in a way for us because overall...
Not all of them.
Not all of them. But overall, we see that still people like the format, like the idea of the state of the game. And yeah, it's not perfect. We need to improve.
Yes.
But it shows that there is a different perception compared to what you would read in Twitch chat most of the time. So
yeah, it's pretty...
we get that some people in chat and everything get very impatient and want to get answers and are showing up in a state of the game because they want us to show up and be like, hey, game is fixed.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean...
Questions.
And but that's a Twitch global thing, right? I mean, that's one of the things, I mean, anyone who watches any other games, I mean, I don't look at Dota chats anymore because they aren't helpful or at all worthy of doing it, so... But yes, anyway, my point was that we are committed to making this better. We aren't going anywhere apart from on a long weekend because for people, there will be no stream on Friday, so I won't be playing, and we won't be in the office on Monday, but we'll be back on Tuesday and Thursday, state of the game. And then we'll have more to talk about next Thursday, I guess, as we get closer to the PTS and that sort of thing. Yeah. Cool. All right.
Definitely expect news on the PTS next Thursday, that's for sure.
Yes.
And hopefully good news by then.
Yannick for host. That's kind of, I mean, I think Yannick is the host. We kind of just tag team it, apart from when you don't show up.
Yeah, because I'm just like, nah.
All right, I feel like we now have entered shit-talking realm, so we should probably go.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Also, the people that did win Build of the Week, you'll notice that Build of the Week is distinctly absent from today. We will get that back off the ground once we've planned exactly the format for what I would probably call State of the Game 2.0. Mm-hmm. We will have those things and more. And if you have cool ideas as well, don't be afraid to throw them at us. I was investigating things like Division Photoshop battles. I think that would be fun. And lots more other meaningful things like great videos from you guys and cosplay and all these sorts of things. Anyway, we'll get to those. But for today, we are out.
One final thing, because chat has been asking me to say it, so I have to say it.
No, don't.
Vinyl, minute, figurine.
I really tried to make today less cringy.
Done.
But I guess that's